Hello, friendos and randos. Welcome back to round 5 of the Swiss rounds of the Singapore area finals. We are watching a win and in game here, and it is gonna be another blue purple Luffy mirror. This is gonna be Fabien Chalice against Ben Isa Roberts, who is one of the players who qualified for Worlds 2 years ago. Now, he will be looking to make his return to Worlds this year as well by winning this game and then making his way to the Asia Finals. Now we're starting off with the Mulligans. Ben sees his starting hand, isn't too happy with it. Thus, Mulligan, he is going second here, lost the dice roll to Fabien, who rolled a very nice 11. Now, Ben shuffling it up, Fabien deciding whether he wants to keep or not. We just saw him win against Noel, a very, very funny game and how it ended. However, this is going to be a very high stakes game as well, and we will see whether it will end in victory for Fabien today, letting him go all the way to the top cut and hopefully the Asia final. Now, just to be clear, again, I think I mentioned in the first video, but the only people going to the Asia Finals are the players who win the top 2 today. So the first and second place players today will be going to the Asia Finals. We're going to see the 3-Dawn turn immediately. 6k swing from Fabien into Ben's face. He does take it, then drops a Zoro Jiro on the board. Ben on his 4-Dawn turn will have a couple of options here for ramp. Maybe his Zoro Jiro of his own. However, that would be weak to a God Thread. He goes for a gear second instead. Ramps to 5-Dawn now. Now it is Fabien's turn again. Goes to his 5-Dawn turn. Will have the Zoro Jiro to ramp up to 6 now. Now 6 active Dawn, goes for a 6k swing into Ben's face with his leader. Ben choosing whether to counter out of this, does drop gear second to counter out. And then we are going to see the God Thread, as mentioned earlier, getting a ramp and no removal. However, this does put Fabien at 7 Dawn. Now we're gonna see Ben drop a 5-cost Nami on his 7-Dawn turn, meaning he is setting up for a 9-cost Sanji on the following turn. Draws 3, can put 2 cards to the top of Ben's deck here, which would be the case. It is what he chooses to do. Does have 2 Dawn open, can go for a Thunder Bagua here to ramp himself up to 8 Dawn. We see in Fabien's hand also drawing a Thunder Bagua as well. Will he be able to drop a 9-cost Sanji here? He does go for just 9-cost Lin Lin. Goes Dawn -1, sends this Nami to the top of life. Will discard a Thunder Bagua, heal a life here as well. Then goes for a 6k swing into leader. Ben here jumping the gun a bit, scooping forward to his turn already. However, does just go for the 6k swing. Recognizes that he can't Thunder Bagua while he's at 3 life to ramp. Now goes to his turn, 6k swing into leader, and then setting up for the 9-cost Sanji that he put on the top of his deck the previous turn with another 9-cost as well. Fabien counters out the 6k swing with a 5-cost Nami, and there goes the 9-cost Sanji into 9-cost Lin Lin, and here we are. Ben is taking the initiative here with the number of bodies on board. So 1 9-cost body extra compared to Fabien. What will he discard for the 9-cost Lin Lin heal? It looks like there is another 9-cost Sanji in hand, and actually that is going to be the card he discards for the 9-cost Lin Lin, choosing not to have a second 9-cost Sanji here. Fabien now grabbing the 9-cost Sanji manga alternate art from premium booster number 2. Puts the remaining cards on the top of his deck, so we can expect the 9-cost Sanji to play another character this turn. Here's a 6k swing from the leader into Ben's face. He counters with a bonk play and then takes the 9k swing from the Charlotte Linen. Here is the Sanji into 8-cost Katakuri. What a powerful turn from Fabien. Now we're going to see what Ben has in response to these. These players are playing at lightning fast speeds. These first few turns are going to be very, very straightforward for sure. Now let's see what Ben has in store. He grabs the Usohachi from the top of the deck for his leader effect. 6k swing into leader, blocked by 8-cost Katakuri. 9k swing with the 9-cost Lin Lin. This is going to be 4k to counter out does just take the life here from Fabien. 9 cost Sanji swings as well and is countered by the Gum Giant. Don -2 draws 2 cards. This card's a gear second. Here's another Sanji into Katakuri as well for Ben. And now, once again, Ben is in the lead with one more 9 cost body than Fabien. However, Fabien is going to equalize that. Grabs another Manga Sanji from the top of his deck. Sets the remaining 4 cards on top. Grabs Franosuke from the top deck as well. Now we're going to see all of these bodies most likely turning sideways. 899 into Ben's face. Here is the 8. This would be 3k counter from Ben. Gear second would be pretty good. He did already use 2 of them though. He might just go for a block +1 as well, considering that we did see Fabien grab that 9 cost Sanji. May not think that he will chase into his 8 cost Katakuri. Man taking some time to start thinking about what to do here. Does just take the 8k swing. Now, we did see the players go lightning fast in the first few turns of the game, but right now it is gonna be where you need to actually start making a bit more tempered decisions. Let's go for the Gum Giant here, blocking the 9k swing. Now it is a 10k swing from this Charlotte Lin. So Ben was maybe thinking he would need to just block +2 on the 9 cost Lin 9k swing. However, here Fabien is saying you are gonna need to drop 3k counter with the block instead. Difficult decision here for Ben. Of course, he does want to stay at this 2 life, make sure that he's in a relatively safe position. I do know he has another 9 cost Lin in hand, so he can go back up to 2 life. However, I think he is wanting to be at 3. Is this worth the 3k counter? He did grab the Usohachi earlier, so we know he has that as an option. However, if Fabien drops another 2 9 cost bodies next turn, it is going to be very brutal. Here is the 4k counter from Ben, and we're gonna see 9 cost Sanji into another 8 cost Katakuri. What a board from the side of Fabien right now. And remember, 8 cost Katakuri sets himself active as well as his mother, Charlotte Lin. So only one rested 9 cost Sanji on Fabien's side of the board right now. And next turn, this is going to be a very brutal attack from Fabien. He does have 5, 9 to 8k attacks available, and splitting those 10 Dawn, that could be very, very painful. Both players at 2 life, the boards are actually looking fairly equal. However, looking at the hand sizes now, Fabien does have a slight advantage. He chose not to use leave any Dawn open for something like a Gum Giant, just going for the 10k swing, forcing another card out of Ben's hand, and it looks like it's going to pay dividends this turn. However, he does have the 2 8 cost Karakuris as well, so is relatively safe, not too worried about getting all in by Ben here. Ben choosing to place the remaining cards on the bottom, grabs a Gum Giant as well to his hand, now setting everything active. What will be the line for Ben here? Does he go for that 9 cost Lin that we saw in hand, or will he just try to push Fabien's hand as low as possible, leave some Dawn open instead? That will be his defensive option instead. We're gonna see Fabien's hand does have a Gum Giant, actually chooses not to leave Dawn open anyway, valuing that extra hand card he got out of Ben's hand more than his own defense. However, with 2 8 cost Kakuris, I understand this line seems to be the case, wanting to win the game on the following turn instead. Does drop a Franosuke for the 6k leader swing, and now we're gonna see Ben go for the 8k swing with the 8 cost Katakuri. 3k counter needed from Fabien to counter out of this, or alternatively block +1. He does drop a Sanji and another card to counter out. 9k swing from the Charlotte Lin. We are going to see Fabien take that second life. 2 more swings available from Ben. He can force maybe one of these Katakuris to go down by attaching some Dawn to these Sanjis. However, we don't know if he is going to go for that play. We did see Fabien does have Usohachi in hand, so we'll be able to rest something like a Nami if Ben decides to go for that. He can choose to play around that by playing down the 6 cost Sanji or something like that, for example, but then won't be able to cycle his hand. So what will be the line here? It is just going to be a plain 9k swing, no Dawn attached on this 9 cost Sanji, forcing a block +2 or 4k counter from Fabien. Fabien may choose to just take this and start going for game next turn, or he could choose to try and defend again. it is just gonna be, it looks like he's hovering the block, considering the block +2 on this 9k swing. It is gonna be the block. Do we see the 2? It is gonna be the 2 with a Usohachi from Fabien's hand. Now, 10 Dawn still available from Ben, but no guaranteed lethal at all anymore. 1 life, 1 blocker, 3 attacks needed to get through. What will Ben do? 10 Dawn available, 9 cost Lin is an option, blockers are also an option, hitting into this category is also an option, swinging 10 or even 12 into it may guarantee a kill, because we did see quite a lot of 2k counters drop from Fabien's hand already. At least 4 2k counters already lost by Fabien. It is going to be 2 Dawn on the Sanji, placed underneath. We're gonna see if this goes into face or into this 8 cost category. Now, if Fabien were to get attacked to his face here, I think he would probably let it go, but instead Ben goes 12 into the category, guaranteeing it goes down, and then bottom decks the other, I believe, category as well, with a red rock and 1 Dawn open remaining for the side of Ben. And here he once again takes the lead in the cards on the board, saying I'm going to set up lethal the following turn here. Fabien grabs a Usohachi from the top 5 cards of his deck, sets up for another defensive turn, changes his mind on the choice of the card for the leader effect, not locking in the Usohachi just yet, confirming the number of cards on the side of Ben here. Ben checking what he has left in the deck, what might be left in his live cards, trying to count the total hand size here for both players. Fabien only at 4 before his leader effect, will go up to 6 after. Ben, we do know he drew his Gum Gum Giant earlier. Fabien grabbing a Gum Gum Giant of his own and then placing the remaining 4 at the bottom of the deck. So a little bit of extra information for Ben. 1 2k Usohachi at the bottom of Fabien's deck. And there is going to be the Charlotte Pudding, I believe. There it is. Bottom decks. Ben's hand sends it all back in, shuffling it up. And this is likely going to be the lethal turn for Fabien. How will he proceed with the math here? 1 Dawn open for Ben. Will he be able to draw a very crucial Gum Gum Giant to save himself here? Even a gear second would be pretty nice to have. Fabien dividing his Dawn up, deciding how he's gonna swing. Looking like a 9, 10, 10, 10 kind of angle right now. And there is the first 9k swing with the 9 cost Sanji. Ben still shuffling his deck, really hoping to get a Gum Gum Giant back from his deck after getting Charlotte Pudding tier. This is exactly how Fabien beat Noel the previous game. Ben, of course, not scooping considering the difference in position here. Ben kind of shaken, not sure if that's what he wants to see on his top 5. $9k swing from the 9 cost Sanji. Considering countering out with 3 cards, it looks like Ben not too happy with his top 5. So it is gonna be the 9k swing, both players just chilling here. Fabien will be most likely going for lethal. There is the 9k swing, Ben checking what it is in a very classic Asian fashion. Not too happy with that one. There is a 10k swing. He's a little upset with this, looking for something here. There it is, there it is. Where will it be? He's not happy with that. That's not going to be what he wants to see here. It does look like there is a counter event, but I can't see clearly what it is. Here is another 10k swing from Fabien. Nope, it looks like Ben just scooped. His hand was not too good. There is a Gum Gum Giant on the very next card of his deck, and very unfortunately doesn't manage to draw into it. And there we go. Fabien takes the game, going 4-1 and making it to the top 8 guaranteed of the Singapore area finals. Now Ben is 3-2, so he does have a chance to bubble in. However, I do have the observation Haki to know that he did in fact get 9th place at the event, so very unfortunate for him here. However, there is always next season. we will be able to see more of Ben for sure. Ben here really frustrated by that. Of course, losing to Charlotte Pudding, always a very frustrating case, and even worse is seeing the top card of his deck was that Gum Gum Giant that he really needed, and he was really hoping to take the game on the following turn there. However, that is One Piece card game. Sometimes the cards are in your favor and sometimes they are not, and let's hope we can see Ben bounce back next season at the Season 2 Area Finals. That being said, friendos and randos, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. I will see you guys again next time for the top cut of the Singapore Area Finals.